The Center for Educational Media and the College of Education at Middle Tennessee State University are proud to offer professional development to K-12 educators in Tennessee through our online video library. The following video is presented by the Center for Educational Media in partnership with Professional Educators of Tennessee's Leader U Conference. For more professional development videos, check out our website at cem.mtsu.edu.
All right. I am the guy that's presenting after lunch. So it means I must have high energy, okay? For your safety, I must request that there's a fire extinguisher nearby. Is there one nearby? Anybody know? Because you may need it because, folks, I am going to bring the heat, all right? Keep the fire extinguisher close, folks, because I'm going to bring the heat, all right? We're going to have a good time in here. We're going to talk today about creating a college and career-ready learning culture in schools, okay? First, I want to talk to you about the art of being resilient, the art of grit, okay? I'm going to talk about grit for a minute. I want you to study this picture. Take about 15 seconds and study this picture, and I'm going to ask you to give me a narrative on what you see. Take pictures, yeah. Okay, good. Somebody tell me what you see. And not the obvious. Yes, there's an ant carrying 3 cookies. Get me out of the kiddie pool and take me deeper. What do you see? The ant is bringing home dessert for the family. Survival. Okay. Take me deeper. Anybody else? What do you see?
Despite having the weight of the world on his shoulders, he still perseveres.
Ah, yes. Yes. There it is. She just knocked it down. So you ought to be asking, well, how in the world, since an ant doesn't have hands, how did this ant get 3 cookies on its back? That's humanly impossible. It's antly impossible. How did this happen? Okay. So I'm going to tell you the narrative about how this ant got 3 cookies on his back. Here's what happened. There was a man who planned a beautiful picnic for his wife. Okay. He was in the doghouse and did some things wrong, and he decides he's going to make up for it by planning this beautiful picnic for his wife. He lays down his beautiful blanket, a little red and white checkerboard blanket there. He didn't realize that blanket was laying on the edge of an anthill. Okay. So as he starts putting out the food, what happens? Here come all the ants. Okay. They're coming to get some food. He brushes away all the ants, moves over a little bit, but there was this one ant that just kept coming back, okay? Every time he brushed the ant away, he'd come back. And he didn't want to kill him, He was trying to be just, courteous and brush him away. He didn't want to just smash him. But this ant just kept coming back. He brushed it away, the ant will come back. He brushed it away, the ant will come back. And you get the story. So he takes one of his cookies and plops the cookie on top of the ant, okay? Ant goes down, gets crushed. A few seconds later, boom, the ant is back up. He said, well, golly, look at that. This little guy's tough, okay? So then he takes a second cookie, stacks it on his back, okay? Then the ant goes down, feeble now. About a minute or two later, guy goes back to doing what he's doing, setting everything up. He looks up, the ant is up. He says, man, this little guy just won't go away. He takes a third cookie, puts the third cookie on the ant's back. The ant goes down, the ant is crushed, the ant is not moving. He thinks that problem is resolved. And that's it. The ant is wiped out. 5 minutes, he goes back and does what he's doing, doesn't see anything. So he just continues to, go along with the picnic, calls his wife over, and she's surprised. Oh, honey, this is beautiful. How romantic. Oh, this is great. Gives her the rose. They sit down, they eat, they talk. As they're talking, he sees a couple of cookies moving. Okay? Cookies don't typically move or have legs, but that's what happened. He was like, oh, my God, this ant is carrying this away. So this ant is not just surviving, this ant is now thriving because that ant was on his way to taking these cookies back to the colony, okay? So I'm gonna teach you some things about how we make kids resilient, okay? Get this in your soul today. We're gonna make kids resilient. I know it's resilient, but it's resilient for today, okay? And I want you to really meditate on this and get this in your soul why we must teach kids about grit, okay? Number one, we have kids that come to school with things on their back that they didn't ask for, okay? Some kids come to school with adversity on their back they didn't ask for. There are 3 things that kids can't control. They can't control who their parents are. We have kids who are born to at-risk parents. That means some kids are born to parents who have drug and alcohol issues, and they didn't ask for that. That's a cookie on their back, okay? Number two, we have kids who may be born in poverty. They didn't ask for that. They were born into a low social class. That's the straw, and that's the hand that they were dealt, and they can't control that, okay? And number three, we have some kids who may be born with severe disabilities, and that's the straw that they pulled, and that's the hand they were dealt. And so those are things that they can't control, and that creates adversity for some kids. That creates every reason in the world why kids should quit when they're going through the challenges of schools. And it's up to us to be the superheroes, because Superman's on vacation, folks. He's not coming back to save public education. It's up to us to be the superheroes and help kids who are dealing with issues in school, and we have to teach them how to be resilient. Now, I'm gonna tell you how this ant was able to meet this feat, okay? An ant has the ability to carry something more than 1,000 times its body weight. So number one, it stretches its torso. When the ant was crushed by the cookies, what it was doing was stretching its torso, okay? You know, stuff you learn in third grade, head, thorax, abdomen, all that stuff. This is where you apply that. You probably were thinking in third grade, when am I ever gonna use this? Well, right now, today, June 30th, 2017, head, thorax, and abdomen from your third grade science class is gonna matter today, okay? Now, the ant has the ability to stretch its torso, and by doing that, it evenly distributes the weight that's on its back, okay? So now what I'm saying is stretching kids. We must stretch kids and provide rigor, okay? Rigor is for all kids. We have to stretch them a little bit. We have to believe that all kids can do it and provide the appropriate level of rigor. Now, the second thing that this ant is gonna do is ants secrete a pheromone when they need help, okay? That is their way of communicating distress, okay? This ant is not gonna take these cookies all the way back to the colony. This ant only has to get into a certain zone or range where when he releases the pheromone, people can come and help. Does that make sense? This ant is only trying to get to a certain spot where he can reach, where the pheromones will kick in far enough for the other ants to come and help, and they will all break it down. Does that make sense? You guys ever seen ants breaking down some food somewhere? Just, gosh, there's like millions of them everywhere, okay? And so what I'm saying by that is we must teach kids how to self-advocate and ask for help, okay? We must teach kids how to self-advocate. That's the key. Teaching kids how to be highly efficacious and self-advocate for themselves is critical in order to make sure that they have enough grit to be resilient, or in this case, resilient, okay? Y'all get the point? Very good. Let's keep rolling. I'm gonna talk about 5 components of instructional leadership here, and we're gonna talk about 1 and 2. I'm sorry, just basically, I'm gonna stay in 2 today, which is shaping the culture for learning, and this is gonna be where we kind of stay today, is in that strand. So we wanna know, why don't kids persist in college? So many kids quit. 25% of all college freshmen actually don't make it. That means 1 in 4, okay? 1 in 4 kids who attempts college, they just don't make it in the first year. And so here's the reasons, typical reasons why. 38% feel financial pressure. That's the pressure to either go back home and help the family or just to work, period, so they're not broke, okay? I don't know what it is. You know, in our generation, guys, we all went to college and we were just broke as a joke, and we took it and we dealt with that. These new millennials, they don't like not having money, okay? They will create something, okay? They'll go Uber, do Lyft. They're gonna find a way to get some money in their pocket, okay? But that's just their mindset. But what's interesting is, if you look at this, academic disqualification. Almost 30% of kids felt like they were not qualified to even be in college, even though they applied and they went to college. Almost 30% of those kids felt like they really shouldn't be there. This really isn't for me. I don't feel like I'm smart enough to be here, okay? When I compare myself to my colleagues, I don't think that I'm as good as everybody else. So I'm gonna go home. And that's that resilience piece. That's that piece of missing grit that we've gotta make sure we keep in our schools, okay? The next thing was 13% felt like they were a poor social fit. They got to the school they liked, they heard about maybe it's UT, they loved it, they loved the vibe, the atmosphere, but then they felt like, I don't really fit in, okay? We love what the school is offering, what the school's doing, but amongst the peers, I don't see people here like me, so I don't really fit in, okay? So these are just a few of the reasons why kids typically don't do well in school and why they opt to leave college. When you look at dropout rates across the nation, you can see here, based on this graph, where you find the highest dropout rates in the country. Notice that Mississippi and Arizona are key here, running 1 and 2, and they're very closely ranked, Mississippi and Arizona. So there's a great study, and I want you to take note on this one, that's called The Silent Epidemic. And if you get a chance to go online and get that one, The Silent Epidemic by Bill Gates. It's written in 2006. It says that nearly 1 million kids per year drop out of high school. And there were 2 major reasons. One of those reasons was, number 1, boredom. Kids were absolutely bored. Okay, we must provide engagement in the classroom because kids were bored. Everything a teacher's saying, sometimes they can go and Google it or find it on the internet. So we have to provide engagement in schools, okay? Number 2, the second reason was lack of connectedness. They didn't feel connected to a caring adult in the building, and that was the reason why they ended up dropping out of school. They had no connection, okay? Lack of connectedness, and the number one reason was what? What'd I say? Boredom. School is boring, okay? Kids typically, most high schools have 90-minute blocks. Can you imagine sitting in a 90-minute class with your Tuesday, Thursday professor? Someone that's just doing sit and get, just talk, womp, 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 and you're just dying. And then kids have 4 periods of that a day. They're dying in these classrooms. God, okay? Think about your Tuesday, Thursday classes and when you're in college, that professor that was just, and you're watching the clock the whole time and you're going, oh, get me out of here, okay? So then when that happens, kids start pulling those escape behaviors, like wanting to go to the restroom or suddenly leaving their bag. Oh, I need to go get my bag, or, or texting the coach, hey, coach, come get me out of here. They're looking for a way out. So I'm gonna give you a startup activity today. I want you to assemble yourselves in groups of 4, find 4 people, and we're gonna do an activity. We're gonna destroy a school today. We're gonna do something that's never been done in American society, folks. We're gonna destroy a school. This activity is called nuclear meltdown, okay? So assemble yourselves in groups of 4, and then I'm gonna give you your assignments. So 4 here, good. Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys are 3 here, you can stay at 3. You guys want to work in 4? Okay, 3 here, okay. I'll let you stay where you are, stay comfortable. I won't take you out of your comfort zone too much, okay. Tell me when you're ready. Come on, give me some energy, I'm like a Baptist preacher, are we ready? Here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something that's never been done before in American society. On purpose, we're going to design a low-performing school. You may be thinking, well, who does that? Who purposely designs a low-performing school? Well, here's what we're gonna do. Let me introduce you to where we're going. We're going to Mission Valley Middle. Mission Valley Middle is a level 5 school. It has 520 students. Demographically, it is 50% white. It is 27% Hispanic, 23% African American, okay? That's the makeup of Mission Valley Middle School, and you're gonna destroy that school. You may be thinking, well, why? Mission Valley sits on a ton of uranium, okay? And so the place where we are right now in America, America's losing the nuclear arms race, okay? And we need uranium to keep up with North America because North America's beating us in the nuclear arms race. And for us to remain number 1 in the world with nuclear arms, we gotta have this uranium mine that the school's sitting on, and it's a bunch of it, okay? So we have now a real interest in gaining the uranium that sits under Mission Valley Middle School. It's now, it's a national security matter. So here's what has happened. The federal government has come in and offered people a lot of money to sell their homes, okay? Most people took the money and ran. Some people decided to stay, okay? So here's what your mission is. Here's your mission. You guys work for a government organization called Relicorp. Your mission is to go in and secure the land that Mission Valley is located on within 3 years. You must ensure that the enrollment drops below 300 and the school receives an F rating in order to close that school. By state law, if the school receives an F rating, they can close the school, which then gives the government the right to seize the land, and then they can close the school so they can get the land, okay? The government wants this security. Here is the philosophy of the government. The government says this: A, if the school fails, then people leave, business and industry will fall, and the economy will tank, thus causing people to move where? Elsewhere. B, this is now national what? It's a national security issue. Okay, the government says, hey, you know what? A few lives must be sacrificed in order to save all of American lives. That's their belief. They say, hey, what is it to destroy 500 kids in a school in order to save 85 million people? It is what it is. It's a matter of national security. We got to get that uranium. We need this school closed within 3 years, okay? So the government's coming. You guys are government officials. You're going to come in and find a way to tank this school, okay? I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. Usually I do this in 20, but I'm going to do this in about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to design a plan to tank Mission Valley Middle School and to make Mission Valley Middle School a failing school on purpose. Go.
Had to wash it off.
Whether it's athletics.
We're going to get rid of all music and art.
Music and art.
Let's not have any athletics.
No athletics. Extracurricular activities like any club kind of thing after school for students to be a part of.
So we're taking away anything that allows the kids to feel tied to the school.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. I mean,
Just terrible news media releases about the school.
Yeah. Release only bad news.
only bad news, yeah.
either you make it too hard
Or
you
too
don't
easy.
support it, right?
Right.
You make them so bored that you have behavior issues in the classroom.
Oh, let's go board.
Let's go board. Too lit. We lighten up the workload.
Yes.
And that way you have behavior problems.
But no admin's going to go for that.
No admin. And the only thing, or you go crazy and you just suspend everything.
Oh yeah. That way your graduation
Just
rate.
graduation rate, decrease the grad rate.
Yeah. No, separate everybody.
Yeah.
There's
No grade level meetings, no PLCs.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Yeah. We don't have time for that because we got to get in here 7:30. We're out of break.
one test at the end of the year.
Okay, I want to hear just 4 from each group. Which group would like to start first? And if you don't volunteer, I'm going to volunteer you. So any volunteers? This is the volunteer state, right? All right, right here.
Incentivize highly qualified teachers to go elsewhere.
Okay.
Replace good leadership with poor leadership. Lessen the school's discipline standards. And eliminate art, music, and sports programs.
So you cut quality programs. Would you do it the first year, or would you gradually cut the programs?
Probably the first year.
Okay. Now remember, guys, you have 3 years. If you do it all just at one time, you get the media after you, you get parents after you get everybody stirred up. The key is you got 3 years to tank the school. Okay, the government's patient. They want the school to tank in 3 years. They don't just want to just come in, they want to get rid of it now. They just run everybody out and drop a nuke on it and just take the referendum, okay? That's not what they want. They want a gradual brushing out of the kids, let enrollment drop to 300, let the school get an F rating, and boom, we close the doors. Just think about that. This group, Murray County over here.
Lower the expectation.
Okay. Give me 4.
Oh, I thought you wanted 4 total.
No, 4.
Oh, we said lower. I said you could rezone, because let me tell you, that'll. I mean, it stirs people up, but then they go. You know. We said rezone, lower expectations. We said to take from Ron Clark, move the people to the wrong seat on the bus, which would be. We also talked about cutting funding.
Okay. This group.
We looked at closing all athletic programs, and this isn't just in 1 year, this is over time. Okay. Let the building fall into disrepair. Again, we had supervision, administration. Bring in teachers that don't really care. They're buying their time out, they don't care.
Do those people exist? People? No. Surely they're not people that teach just for a paycheck. No.
Elective programs include CTE, band, sports, and our precipice and cause for all this is no funding.
Nice.
Old technology too.
So you blame it on funding,
Yeah.
and you would take technology.
Yeah, old technology, no update.
Wow. This table.
We said the same thing about cutting all art programs, music programs, and athletics. We want to just strict focus on the core classes. We want an administrator that's not visible, doesn't take other people's opinion into account, and just hardly ever there, just not a very present one. Really, what else did we say?
False rumors.
Yeah, we wanted to start false rumors about the school.
I love that.
And just really wanted to just focus on the classroom and on sit and get. We don't want any tables, we want straight rows, just quiet classrooms, because that's the only way kids can learn.
Excellent. Dr. Turner.
Yeah, we said a lot of the same things.
We're going to cease communicating with the community, just period. Just cut all communications off. That ought to really throw some monkey wrenches in. Discipline, we're going to get real draconian. 3 strikes, you're out with everything. That will really screw up stuff. We're going to use only the lecture methodology in classrooms. You can only lecture. Teachers can only lecture. And lots of standardized testing, not just what the state mandates, but we're going to go get new programs and go to, and call all the vendors up and tell them to come on in and bring all their stuff. And we'll just standardized test everybody.
Oh my goodness, you guys are brutal, just evil. Those poor children. Last table, you guys go.
Well, for Brady's pretty much said our ideas. We had, like, make it such a toxic school climate.
Okay.
Where you mess up the demographics, like everybody's against everybody, don't really police that too much.
Okay.
Promotes cell phone use so they can cyberbully each other.
Okay.
And then you have that kind of issue. And then kind of what these guys are sharing about PR, not just start the rumors, but literally, if you're at your church thing, hey man, did you hear about such and such middle school? They stink. And then you start building up all this bad stuff. And ultimately start suspending people so your grad rate goes down. So over a 3-year average, you're boom. You have no choice but.
So you're saying that you would also make sure there's a smear campaign, negative PR, and that will help tank the school. Okay, very good. So I can't wait to tell you what happened. Congratulations. You guys closed Mission Valley. It closed today, okay? So your list was the same as mine. Reassigning underperforming teachers, there's discipline issues, ineffective leadership, the school is underfunded or has limited funding. We cut programs, we provided overcrowded classrooms, we did some rezoning, we decreased funding for services, we decreased staffing, we lowered the food quality, and we also decreased the cleanliness of the facility. Everything that you all said is what I said. Now guess what? Here's where this gets real. This is what happens in schools every day right now. That's what schools look like right now. Okay? This is exactly what an underperforming school looks like right now. So whether you intentionally try to tank it or not, this is what they look like. So the question is, folks, I want to stir up in your consciousness today is that why do they look like this if we're supposed to be helping schools? Because this is what they look like when we call ourselves being the help in schools. Somebody react to that. Talk to me. Because that's what you said it would look like if you tanked it on purpose, but that's what it looks like now. So talk to me about that. Anybody? Reactions?
This is a terrible activity. I agree. Well, I mean, it's just that negative. I mean, we already get enough of that. I didn't want any more days. So, I understand your point, but it was a thought-provoking that just makes me sick to my stomach.
Right. And see, as educators, we don't want to think about how we harm a school. That's why we think about it in reverse. If you had to harm a school, this is what you would do. But this is what schools look like that are underperforming anyway. So my question is, if we're not intentionally trying to harm schools and they still look like this, I'm gonna say it again, what are we doing? This is where the wake-up call comes in. Then what are we doing?
Here's a situation. I used to live in Wilson County, and there was a big battle to build the new Lebanon High School because Mount Juliet had gotten a brand new high school. And so everybody was moving to Mount Juliet. And so there was a parent that said to me whose children would have been at the Lebanon High School, and she wanted to take them to Mount Juliet. And she said, you know, a new building, a new feel, and I feel like physicality, you know, of a facility is great. You know, Dr. Jackson inherited a pretty rough facility, and we put some paint on it and put some lipstick on that pig, so to speak, and she's looking better, you know, but I think people don't realize that's a big thing. And so you say, well, I can't do that, I'm a teacher. Yes, you can. You can call your county commissioner, you can see what your property tax values are. I mean, there are things you can do as a citizen from that point. So to me, you know, people like new. People want to be in a, you know, aesthetic environment. They really do. So, and I think we can control that in our own classrooms to make that pleasing for students. So to me, that's at the basis of helping our schools.
Anybody else want to react? Why do schools look like this that fail?
Well, I was going to say, I've seen some of this come out play. Something we haven't talked about is the response of the students, or something to consider response of the students, or to address that type of response after seeing or enduring some of these actions. And they will respond. And we saw it live and in living color in Metro Nashville when this entire student body of a school walked out in protest. So that's something else. You can stifle some of these things, but you also need to keep in mind of who are we ultimately impacting.
Anybody else want to react? Why do we look like this?
Well, most of these schools are in impoverished areas.
Boom. High poverty, low performing, that's right. That's what every high poverty, low performing school in America looks like. This is the plight. It's underfunded, oversized classrooms, there's discipline issues, ineffective leadership.
Not the squeaky wheels. They're the ones that are not speaking up the most.
A lot of times, that's true. We have so many unfunded mandates that we have to deal with. And in order to handle all these mandates, starting with the federal government and working its way down through the state, that takes funding that the LEA doesn't always have.
Yeah.
You know, when we earmark certain things for this and then we're told, oh, y'all have to do this on top of that. Who's furnishing the money? Oh, that's your problem. We're just telling you it has to be done.
So I guess I want to leave you with a question. How do we make schools like this a priority before they become priority schools? Okay? That's the thought I want to leave you with. How do we make a school like this the priority before it becomes a priority school? So I'll tell you how I did it. Okay? I got to Maplewood High School 1 year after a kid was murdered at graduation. 2010, a student was murdered at graduation at Maplewood High School. This happened at TSU Gentry Center. And at the time I was running a middle school called Apollo Middle School, and the superintendent asked me to come in and take Maplewood High School. And so I was an assistant principal at Maplewood before, went and ran Apollo Middle School and turned it around under No Child Left Behind, might I add, which is tough. And then, of course, I came to Maplewood High School, and that was my next challenge. And this is what that school looked like. It was a focus school with the state, and our district had our own little measurement, and so the bottom was target. So we were in target status. Attendance was 88%, 91% free and reduced meals, 22% special ed. That means that every fifth kid was in special education, 6% ELL. Demographically, we were 76% African American, 11% white, 12% Hispanic, and 1% other. And we amassed a whopping total of $91,000 in scholarships for 211 kids. Let me put that in perspective for you. If one kid gets the UT Promise Scholarship, that's $64,000 for one kid. And that's what happened. One kid got $64,000, and the other 6 kids combined earned around $30K. And that's for 200 graduates. Terrible. 211 kids graduate, and their total combined for the senior class was $91,000 in scholarships. Folks, it was a train wreck. 7 of 211 earned scholarships. And the college acceptance rate at that high school was 57% when I took it over in 2011, okay? So it was pretty bad. And the grad rate was 62%, one of the worst in the state, okay? It had risen up gone up 4%. It was at 58%, and it went to 62. It was at 62 when I got it, okay? When they dropped the keys in my hands, 62% graduation rate, okay? Due to the murder happening at commencement, at one time, the governor had said we need to close this high school, okay? This is a school that has a very violent history, a violent past, and it's one of the tougher ones in the state. So we started first with vision and rebranding, okay? Vision is important. I got this book, and we started studying this book with my leadership team. It's called The 5 Most Important Questions That You Will Ever Ask About Your Organization, okay? And we looked at number 2 and number 3. Who was our customer? Who was the student? Who was the Maplewood student? Who are we trying to serve? Who are the students and parents at Maplewood High School? Who are we serving? And then we looked at number 3. What do our customers want? Okay, we look at our parents and students like clients. What do they want? What do they value from this experience? Then, of course, we looked at question 4, what are our results? And then 5, what is the plan? Okay, that was the driving force behind the change at Maplewood High School, starting with our leadership team. We were having those hard conversations around this book. It is a great one to bring back to your school and have some hard conversations around how we can turn around a tough situation, okay? We changed our mission, okay? We changed our vision. We really started looking at how we can make kids college and career ready, okay? And start preparing those kids for what tomorrow is gonna hold, okay? And that's where we were going with this. Now, Robin Crow said this is one of my favorite quotes. An organization that lacks the ability to reinvent itself will eventually be destined for failure. Every couple of years, I don't care what school you're at, every 3 to 4 years, you gotta reinvent yourself and reinvent your brand, okay? People knew Maplewood as the violent school that you don't wanna go to, okay? It is your worst nightmare to move to Nashville, move to East Nashville more specifically, and get this beautiful home, the home of your dreams. And then, of course, to get that letter in the mail that says, hey, welcome, you'll be zoned to Maplewood High School. And parents are going, wait a minute, let me check my options. There's KIPP Academy, there's a private school, there's a charter school. We're not coming to Maplewood. So I said, man, what are we gonna do? Because eventually we're gonna lose enrollment. Okay, if we lose enrollment, you get below a certain point, then there's the argument to close the doors. And so we had to fight to build the enrollment back up, okay? We were fighting to get the enrollment where it needed to be. The next thing is, okay, we talked about brand messaging, okay? I believe that an organization will evolve into a brand when you consistently produce a high quality product, okay? Here's a cup of coffee from MAPCO. Here's a cup of coffee from Starbucks. There's a reason why people pay $5 for a cup of Starbucks coffee. Who can tell me why? Why do you pay $5 for a Starbucks cup of coffee when you can get it for $1.25 at MAPCO? What are you paying for? The what? The status. Take me deeper. The name, the quality, it's the same coffee bean, right? I don't think Starbucks has a magical bean. They brew it differently?
They roast their beans differently.
You kidding me? See, that's the marketing employee. See, you a sold, man. Hey, just give Starbucks your debit card.
It's customer service.
Whoa, say it.
Customer service.
Service. Guys, it's the experience. You're paying for the Starbucks experience. That's the difference. Okay?
You get a grande.
Right. It's the experience. That's the difference. And so, right. Yeah, they put your name on the cup. Right.
Favorite organization and for what it represents. Like you said, customer service, all this stuff, and it represents all that.
Right. What is your name?
Stanley Smith.
Stanley. They'll scream out, latte for Stanley? Stanley, latte for Stanley. I mean, they make you feel important. You know, you're waiting in line for your stuff and they call your name out. I mean, you're paying for that experience. So I started challenging my staff. I said, guys, how can we provide the Starbucks experience in our school? How do we make this place more welcoming, okay? Parents hated to come into the school. So I told my secretary, you're no longer the secretary, you are the director of first impressions. You control the first impressions at this school, okay? So we got these little coffee mugs for 69 cents, put our logo on the coffee mug. I stuck my business card in there, a couple of peppermints, and we wrapped it in cellophane paper, and every parent that came in got a mug when they came in, okay? And we'd say, welcome, how are you? Let us know how we can help you today. Think about what that did for the perceptions of a high school that people typically hated. They felt welcomed, and then we began to build the bridge between parents and my staff. That was the first victory, okay? Look at these two shoes. This one's a Nike. What's this one? What's the bottom one? A Buster? Yeah, buddies. Okay. So I'm gonna ask a hard question. Somebody tell me why that's not a Nike. Who can give me some scientific proof? If I paint a swoosh on there, will it be a Nike? Why not? It's got a swoosh on it.
No, it's a technology. It's a technology. It's the way into that, how they built that other thing.
So you're saying the design is what dictates?
One's actually for sure, if you're a runner, you know that that's a running shoe. It's designed, there's a certain quality built in, you have to make it happen.
Boom, keyword was quality. Thank you. You're giving me goosebumps right now. It's about the quality, okay? I said, guys, we can paint a swoosh on ourselves and pretend that we're Nike, but really we're not. Really, we wear down in 3 or 4 days and the back of our heels are flapping. We're not Nike, okay? I said, but there will be some Nike situations in this house because there are things we got to do, and it's going to be just do it, okay? So I told my staff, I said, guys, when it comes to students and parents, helping them, respecting them, it's a Nike situation. Just what? Just do it. That's what we have to do. So that's where we started, changing that culture. I painted this on the wall at Maplewood High School. When you first walk in the catwalk, you will see this as soon as you walk in, biggest day. It says, lives will be changed in this school every day. Next to that, right below that, is our vision statement. We want you to know what we stood for the minute you walk into school. As soon as you walk into school, you know what our vision is and you know what we're out. This is our mantra, daily mantra. Lives will be changed in this school every day. That's the key. We want to change your life. That sends a message to parents that we really care, that we're really here, not for a paycheck, but that we're really invested in making sure that your child's safe and that we're here to make sure that we do what's right for kids. That's the message. Parents cannot dispute this. And because these messages are here when they come in, even if they come in angry, they get the message up front that, hey, maybe we disagree somewhere, but we're really here for the right reasons. And that's changing culture, folks, okay? The next thing we did, everybody's putting college flags all over their school. Oh, college, 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 okay? Making it seem cute and cliche. We took it a step further. We put little placards next to our college banners, okay, which has all this information here, okay? If you walked in my high school, you would see all this information next to my college placards, okay? I've been to so many schools across the country. I've spoken all over the country, been to so many schools everywhere, and everybody's got their little college flags. Hey, I want a kid to know how to get into UCLA, okay? I want to have real conversations with kids about what it takes to get into UCLA, okay? I'm going to say, hey, Taquez, do you have a 25 on the ACT and a 3.3? Okay? And we have a real dialogue about it. Not just, oh yeah, I'm going to this school, that school, it looks cool. I want to talk about how we get you there. And that information should be next to your college information, okay? Sure, we want kids to aspire for college, but put the information next to it that shows how kids can get there, okay? Make it live. The next thing is we opened a coffee shop at Maplewood High School. We took the poorest high school in the city, one of the poorest in the state, and opened up a coffee shop. I turned my old health clinic into a coffee shop called Cafe Maroon. I got $10,000 worth of cappuccino makers and what do you call the stuff? Commercial grade equipment, coffee equipment for free. The only thing I had to do when I partnered with this company is to just order their brand of coffee. And because I order their brand of coffee, the same coffee McDonald's uses, I get the equipment free. I get $10,000 worth of equipment free. And so we start making these iced lattes. And you're gonna see why this was a genius strategy. I'm gonna tell you why this was a genius strategy. Here's why. We sell the little iced coffee for $2, okay? I only need to sell 25 of those a day. That's $50 a day. How many days are there in a week? 5. That's $250 a week. How many weeks in a month? 4. That's $1,000 a month. How many months of school? 10. That's $10,000, folks. See that? 10 months, $1,000 a month, that's $10,000, 10 grand off this, okay? That's $10,000 of revenue that we made off just internal sales that we can support things in our school, okay? If we wanted to get a couple of tablets, if we wanted to get t-shirts made, if we wanted to do something for kids to take a field trip, here was an extra pocket of revenue that we created off this simple idea that cost me zero. Zero. All about partnerships. How do you partner? When you make your brand attractive, you can attract partners, and partners will make this happen for you. Cost me zero. And now we can make 10 grand or more annually, okay? So I want you to see that. And it's a service learning project. These kids actually run the coffee shop, and there's a teacher there. The teacher only deals with the money. So kids who are in our accounting classes and our business management classes were actually running their own business throughout the school, okay? They also got to hire people that they thought were qualified to work in the shop. So they were juniors and seniors, and they get to hire upcoming sophomores and put people in the shop. They also got to fire those people if they weren't doing their job. So this was real live business management experience in a service-based learning kind of situation. Leveraging those community partners is huge. Another big strategy, we work with some banks. I'm real big on inviting partners in. So the key thing is to onboard partners. Invite them in your doors, let them know what you're offering. We did this. These are a couple of Fifth Third Bank representatives. Fifth Third Bank has invested tons of money into that high school, and because we opened up our doors, okay? We did a monthly meeting called Maplewood Monday. Every fourth Monday, I would have a luncheon. And it started with 6 community partners. 6 mom and pop businesses would come. Before long, we had 55 different partners coming in a single year, okay? But we started with 6 community partners and went from 6 to 55. And then we took these community partners and made them academy partners, and then they were supporting the work that we were doing in our schools, and they had a deeper investment in terms of dollars and revenue, okay? So we share our challenges in those meetings. We ask them to get involved at their level of what? Comfort. The thing you don't want to do with partners is you don't want to ask for money outright, okay? People kind of get offended when you ask for money. Companies get hit up for money all the time. What they want is to know how they can make a difference in your school. So if you're going to bring partners in, talk to them about your goals, your mission, your vision, your values, and then let them get involved at the level of their comfort, and then they will jump in and help you change the course of your school. Okay, I'm telling you this works. I've done it. Okay? Also, allow the kids to sell the school. This is what changes their hearts right here. Okay? Who could tell these 2 sweet girls no? Okay? So these girls are pitching to them about how they started a little business. They were helping different coffee shops in the local area transform their business by doing some online ordering and ordering through an app that they created. And so they're pitching this to Fifth Third Bank representatives, okay? And then they won a trip to California for their DECA competition. So their DECA competition got paid for because they were so impressed with their pitch. Let the kids sell your school. That's the key, guys. Let the kids sell it. Let the kids talk, and it's game over, okay? One thing I'm real proud of is at Maplewood High School when I was there, we took the old family engagement center. It wasn't doing well. It used to be a daycare center, then we turned it into a family engagement center. That's what it was when I got to school. I took that space and transformed that into a college and career center through Martha O'Brien. Okay, this is a $250,000 annual investment by that nonprofit. And if you can get nonprofits to partner with you, like we were able to do, they can do some phenomenal things. I'll show you a quick video now of what they've done and what that investment looks like inside of a school. But this is a $250,000 annual investment that they make in this high school.
Check, check.
Yeah,
Principal Ron Woodard is the epitome of in your face.
I took it. I took it.
All right.
But in a good way. He's trying to change the culture of Maplewood High School and get college on his students' minds every day.
Boom! What is that?
I think it provides students with a focus. At the end of your 4-year progression, we tell kids that they're going to meet a crossroads, and they have to start deciding which way they're going to go. And so we try to get them to think about this decision earlier.
And there's a lot for them to think about. Students are regularly given ACT prep, college campus tours, and help with writing important essays. Beginning this year, students are able to go to the College Zone, a one-stop shop for access to resources.
It's a really unique space. Students have the opportunity to go down at any time during the day. Martha O'Brien Center is going to provide staff members there on site to assist students with college access needs. And so is the Oasis College Connection. They're going to provide a staff member there to help students find the right fit, to help students with their FAFSA information, helping students write their entrance essays, the whole 9 yards.
The school's approach seems to be working. Last year, students received $1.4 million in scholarship money, up from $91,000 the previous year. College acceptance also went up significantly. Senior David Wilson says he has felt the impact of the College Zone.
If they would never call me down here, I don't think I would have really applied to college. I don't have a computer at home, so I really was just procrastinating. I used to play a lot, stuff like that. But now I see like the real world, like it's gonna come soon, and if you don't take grasp of it or like notice it, like it'll really tear you down.
Typically what they thought were barriers were just small things that were in the way. Like once they realized, they can fill out a FAFSA form for free and possibly be eligible for thousands of dollars of grant money or federal work study, then they realized that, this is something that's obtainable. Like it's not out of reach, like I thought it was.
Wilson says his relationship with his principal has also made the difference.
I give the credit to Mr. Woodard. In the hallway, you see you, talk to you, really just instill, you have a piece of paper, show it in front of your face so you won't forget. He said on announcements every morning too. EOC, ACT, high GPA. That's how you get money for college and stuff like that.
We're helping inner city urban students, students who come from impoverished conditions, to make their way to the top. I remember being a student in high school and no principal ever asked me about my future, my college plans, my goals. And so I make it a point now to be sure to talk to kids about their goals. That sends a message that the person at the top is not just a talking head or a voice on the announcements, but you know what, this guy really cares.
For the Southern Education Desk, I'm Soraya Salam, Nashville Public Television.
The Southern Education Desk and American Graduate are made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Thoughts, reactions? Any reactions? Thoughts?
I like your sign.
Thank you.
Dr. Woodard, this time last year, Isaiah Long and I did a practical project on the college zone.
Oh, really?
And we showed your ACT growth. And it was my first dig deep into high school data. And it was really powerful at the gains you had made with this.
We're getting there. ACT scores were pretty dismal at the high school. ACT was actually a barrier, guys, for success for a lot of our kids. Our kids felt like if you didn't do well in the ACT, that, again, like we saw, academic qualifications, they thought they weren't qualified to go to college. So they would let one test dictate whether or not they were worthy to get a higher education. And so we changed that. We started pushing them to take it again. And we had kids that struggled with academic confidence. That was a really big issue. Their self-efficacy was very low. And so we started saying, hey, it's okay, take it again. We will support you. So we put this center in the school, okay? And so at any time between 10 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night, you can come in and get extra help with ACT. You can do your homework. You can get tutoring or get information about any college you want to attend. You can sign up for college tours. All this stuff is happening all day long in the school all day. We're doing college access work all day, every day from 10 to 6. From 2 to 6, it was an after-school space, okay? That kept 80 kids per day off the streets in the afternoons, okay? That cut teen pregnancy, that cut gangs, that cut violence in the community because there was a safe place for at least 80 high school kids from East Nashville to be after school, and they were in the college zone. I saw a hand here. Yes.
How does the creation of the Tennessee Promise Scholarship affect this kind of work?
It works hand in hand. We do push the Tennessee Promise, very much so. We work hand in hand. We work with the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. We bring in guest speakers, so we push all that. All that college access work is driven here. And our counselors will come and meet with the counselors that we hired that Martha O'Brien hired for the school. And so there's a beautiful collaboration happening between our guidance counselors in the school. I had 4 of them, and the counselors that were here, we had 6. So that gives me 10 counselors, okay? 6 are paid for by Martha O'Brien. Again, that means that this company is putting $250K in that school annually, okay? See the power of partnerships. This is the poorest high school in the city, but that's $250K being brought in annually, okay? So probably the proudest moment for me is that I am one of the co-founders of the Bridges to Belmont program that is, it's been a hot topic here in Nashville. This is the 5th year of that program, okay? And so we wrote that in 2013, talking to President Fisher, Bob Fisher, who's the president of Belmont High School. Each one of these kids, 12 kids at my school every year will get $115,000 to go to Belmont. If you have a 19 and a 3.0, you could qualify, okay? 19 and a 3.0, you can qualify to go to Belmont. And that will be, boom, $1.2 million I get per year. I'm gonna say that again, $1.2 million per year, annually, flowing through my school, okay? That's the power of partnerships, okay? So finding ways to partner can help change the culture of a school, okay? So what we do is we let kids start. You could apply with a 19 and 3.0. But it gets competitive. The kid that has a 3.5 and a kid that has maybe a 22 will probably be the kid that's chosen. So they would, get a chance to kind of go into the system where they would vet these applications. Belmont would come in, pick their 12, and then we'd announce who the 12 were. Okay, for 12 kids, we're changing their life. And so we just recently saw our first class go through at Belmont University, and we're very proud about that. So this is the 5th year of that program. That program has now been endowed for over $10 million. Belmont has found an alum who donated $10 million to that program. And so it's just amazing what Dr. Bob Fisher is doing through this program, how lives are being changed, and it's now being expanded to other schools within Metro Nashville Public Schools. But it started right here, and I'm very proud to be a co-founder of that program, okay? Another thing that we did, I had an old typing lab in our vocational wing. Maplewood High School, it was an old school, and so we had a vocational wing, if you guys remember that, the vocational building and all that stuff. And so in that vocational wing, we had a typing lab. I turned the old typing lab into an entrepreneurship center. My art teacher did the art on the walls, I did the wording, and we turned this into a small mini center where kids can create small startup businesses, okay? Which tied into our business CTE courses, okay? We're teaching kids the art of entrepreneurship, the art of not working for someone else, but the art of creating the job and the opportunity that you want for yourself, okay? And through this, we had tons of kids. I have a little girl right now who has her own cupcake company. She sells cupcakes in a jar, and she's selling those out of a little truck, and now she's got 3 trucks, all started right here in high school. Within 3 years, she now has 3 trucks of her own, and she's going all through the community, and she sells her cupcakes in a jar. She's doing real well. We have kids that have created apps. We have kids that have worked for restaurants and changed restaurant menus. So all types of neat things happen in this creative space called the iSpot Entrepreneurship Center there. When we opened this was pretty cool. I didn't get a picture of this, but when we opened this, I'm a big fan of the show Shark Tank. Anybody here watch Shark Tank? Love that show, okay? So there was a guy on there, this is one of the most famous episodes where Barbara and Kevin O'Leary, they have a kiss. If you all watch the show, you know there's an episode where 2 of the sharks kiss each other. And they're kissing because there is this lip balm that when they touch, it creates some type of chemical sensation. So we invited the guy that did that. His name is Dallas Robinson. He came and actually cut the ribbon on this center and came and spoke to the kids that day. And that was pretty cool. Didn't charge us anything. We flew him out, and he came out, and we cut the ribbon on this center. And it was a pretty good news story for the school and for the community to have someone that was a contestant on the show to come out. So that was pretty cool. And that's how we opened this up and got some kids interested. So more about the power of partners. Gosh, I've used partners to give me academic incentives. I told partners, I said, hey, I want to give kids a brand new tablet if they do well on EOCs, end of course assessments. Okay, we get those quick scores back. I had tablets for kids. I called them down and said, hey, you did well. You know, for years you've been non-proficient, you were proficient this year, boom, here's a tablet for you. Boom, you were advanced, here's a tablet for you and a gift card. And we did that through partnerships. I was able to raise about $11,000 in a month through partners, and I bought a ton of tablets, and we're just giving kids tablets. Kids were crying and saying, oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. Oh, you know how kids are. Oh my God, a tablet. You know, but just the little things matter to kids. And so we did that. Did a lot of college tours. Coca-Cola was a big partner for us. And Coca-Cola was able to provide funding for us to do a series that we call the Coca-Cola College Tour Series. Okay, here's what partners want. Partners want you to market their brand. So if they're going to give us the capital, we're going to name it after that partner and then give them some sponsorship and pub. Make sense? So we call the college tours that we do. Every high school takes kids where? Where? On college visits, right? And if Coke is going to pay for it, then we're going to call it the Coca-Cola College Tour Series and give them some publicity, right? Then they love it. Then they say, you know what, we want to give you this money again, Doctor. We want to thank you because they get some of that publicity, okay? Just little things, guys, little things on how you can market a brand and bring those partners in, okay? Now, college isn't for everyone. I'm going to show you something really cool. We know that college isn't for every kid. Am I right or wrong? We cannot expect every kid to go to college. I'm going to show you something really cool. If you have a smartphone, you can navigate this, plug in this little URL code. I prefer that you do this bottom one. Plug this into your smartphone, but for those of you who would like to just see it up here, I'm going to put it in up here. Okay. So one of the things I created my first year there was we call this our digital post-secondary access plan, okay? Let me tell you why this is important, okay? When you're starting to do Tennessee Promise, all the kids come to the auditorium and they're all pumped up and they say, yeah, we're going to college. Every kid signs up for Tennessee Promise because they feel the pressure to do it. But guess what? In my high school, about 16 to 18% really had other things that we're going to do. They were not going to go. They'll sign up for it, but they really had no intentions on going, okay? Now, the key is, how do you capture this information? Kids don't come and tell you, guess what? Hey, principal, I'm not going to college, okay? As a matter of fact, they're the ones sitting in the room kind of shrinking down in the chair because they know they're not going to school. But they do what everybody else does because they feel the pressure. We've pressured everybody to go to college. Guys, that's not the path for everybody, okay? And so one of the ways that we can find out who has other plans or who has an alternate plan or was through this index, okay? So here it starts with their name, what's your name in school, phone number, all that. Then they put in their grade level. Have you taken the ACT and what was your score? What is your current GPA? Okay, so answer all these questions, okay? And you think, oh, well, this guy's gonna show me just some basic survey. Anybody can do that. You're gonna see why this is pretty cool, okay? So, 5, are you the first person in your family to go to college? See, it gets deeper. For many of our kids, they were the first people in the first generation college students. And so they answer that question, okay? Then next is, do you plan to go to college or start a career after high school, okay? This is where we have some dichotomy, okay? 7 says, what colleges are you interested in? And so based on what you choose here, see there's a little star here. Based on what you choose here, it takes you in 2 different tracks. If you say that you're going to start a job after high school, you go into a completely different set of questions. Questions like, do you have a resume on file? Do you plan to go on interviews? Have you talked to a counselor about your career goals and what can we align for you career-wise? What are your skills? Let's talk about how we can get some soft skills for you. And we do this in November so that when a kid walks out of school, by the time they get to April, at least if they're not going to college, they have some soft skills, a couple of jobs lined up, and some interviews lined up. Does that make sense? You with me on that? So there's some dichotomy there. Now, if you say you're going to college, it keeps asking you college questions. If you say that you're going to start your career, it will ask you career-oriented questions, okay? So those questions get deeper. So we start telling kids about your timeline, okay? What steps do you take to get into college? I would have taken, that should be taken. I would have taken the ACT at least twice by this date, speak with my guidance counselor by this date, and they put the date in there. Work with my counselor, found a scholarship and financial aid opportunities, they put the date in there. Narrow my choices for degree programs by this date, okay? Apply to schools of my choice no later than this date. See that? See how we get real specific on this college piece? Not just talk, real actionable things here, okay? Kids will tell you, oh yeah, I'm going to college, I'm this, I'm that. I want action. So how do we do this? Through your senior English classes. Every senior has to come to English to graduate. So in senior English class in November, guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna roll out the carts, give you a little laptop, and you're gonna do this. And we're gonna get all this data from you, okay? Once I have this data, it goes into my little, it goes into SurveyMonkey, all the data is tabulated. It's gonna tell me how many kids are going to college, how many kids have these choices, how many kids pick UT, how many kids want MTSU. I'm getting all this data, and now what do? Now I can go pull Johnny, and I can pull Sarah, and I can pull Ricky and have conversations with them about their choices, okay? So now I have the data I need in my fingertips in real time and talk to them about their college choices or career choices, right? Are y'all with me? Am I preaching good in the church? All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. But guys, simple tool to help make kids successful. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, every kid's gonna tell you, oh yeah, I'm planning to go to college, but some kids may have other things in mind. Some kids may be embarrassed to say that this may not be for them. Kids will actually be embarrassed to tell you that they're not going to college or that they don't think that they're college material. And this is one way that you can capture that data in a private way and then have a private conversation with the kid about what their career goals could be. Okay, we want kids to have real options. You know, we throw around that word college and career ready. We throw career ready around so much. What do we really do in schools to make kids career ready? Let's be honest, what do? We don't make kids career ready. We just throw it around. We want kids to be college and career ready. What are we doing to make them career ready? We don't focus on it. That was something that we did to help kids get there, okay? And I'm just telling the honest to God's truth. Don't mean to offend anybody. If you work for State of Tennessee, I still love you, but that is the real deal, okay? So to make kids career ready, if we see that you said that you want to go to start your career, we're going to set up some mock interviews for you. We're going to bring in employers and let you talk to real employers about what you selected. And so these are employees, okay, from across the system, or people just help do mock interviews. This was a former principal in MPS who was helping with the mock interviews, just to make sure that you're ready. Do you present yourself well? Do you have subject-verb agreement when you speak? Okay? Can you write a decent sentence? I'm just being honest. Okay? These are things that employers want. Okay? Can you take criticism? Lord knows that teenagers don't take criticism very well. Okay? Get the job and then they get fired in 2 weeks because they were doing something they shouldn't do and they couldn't take the criticism from the boss. Okay, so we have those kinds of conversations.
Dr. Woodard, back to the survey.
Yeah.
Is that something you created, or is it something anybody could get and use in their school?
So that's something that I created, but...
Have you shared that with Murray County High School?
I have created one for Dr. Marzak, one that's specific, but it's a partnership. It is my intellectual property, but I'm going to unveil that. He has seen it and he likes it. And so we're going to talk about how we partner in using that, okay? So it will have a dual benefit. So here's something I'm real proud about. You know, when you think about your career and moments that take your breath away, this was one of the moments that took my breath away as a school leader. Man, we opened up the Firestone Training Academy last year, and I'm just so honored about it. It was amazing. So this is a $500,000 investment from Bridgestone, okay? And I got a little bit of bragging rights I could do. I'll brag a little bit. I feel some pride in this. We are the only school, we're the only school in the world that has a Firestone inside a high school. Lots of high schools have automotive programs. This high school has a Firestone store inside of it, okay? It is a marvel. It's something you need to go see, go by and check it out. It is truly amazing. So now you're probably wondering, well, how'd you do it? I'm gonna give away some of my secrets here. We met with Bridgestone. Went and partnered with Bridgestone, the vice president, and this is one of the vice presidents here. He's the vice president of Latin American operations, and his wife was doing some work in our school. His wife partners with our school, and we had a conversation with him when he came and spoke, and we showed him the automotive center, and we talked about it, and we said, we could turn this into a Firestone. Wouldn't that be great? And he said, yeah, it would be great. Didn't hear anything from him. Set up a meeting with him and with some of the other VPs, and we talked about how we could make this happen, and he asked me one question. He said, Dr. Woodard, what is your vision for this? Once he asked me that, that was my opportunity to sell Maplewood High School. What do you think happened? If you get me to talk about what I love and what I'm passionate about, I will sell brimstone to Satan, okay? I will sell brimstone to the devil. And that's what happened. We sold it. We talked about why. We talked about how this will help kids, how this will change lives in the community, how Bridgestone can make this amazing investment in a community that has the highest poverty and the highest crime, how this will be state of the art. Oh, I mean, man, we went in. Didn't hear anything for about a year. It was a dead space, just nothing. We're hoping and wondering when we'd hear something, and then next thing you know, boom, it picked up. We got a phone call that said, hey, it's a go. And this is the CEO, Gary. He's in Chicago, and they said yes. And before you knew it, we were celebrating and cutting the ribbon. And I mean, you talk about an awesome space, but that's a $500,000 investment that they made inside of a high school. Just like that, because of partnerships when you change the culture, okay? As a leader, it is your responsibility to get out there, be aggressive and sell that school, promote that culture, and to make it happen for kids. This is how we change lives, folks. This is what I meant when I said lives will be changed in this school every day, okay? This is in the back of the school. It's huge, but it's life-changing. And this is something that we have provided for kids who are not going to college. And this is also for young ladies, girls and boys. We have girls who do the management business side of running a Firestone store, And we have some young men who are doing the business side and or the tech side, who are doing some of the automotive engineering side of Bridgestone. These kids are walking out of school and they can make $40,000 a year, okay? Make starting teacher pay, working for Bridgestone. Here's another beautiful strategy in this, okay? What we want to do is we become the farm team for Bridgestone Firestone. They're being trained in the Bridgestone customer service brand, okay? They're being trained in that industry. So they walk right into good jobs, they're trained, okay? At 18 years old, they can make great money. And again, that's a pathway for kids who are not going to college right off the bat, okay? That's the power of partnerships. Boom. Here's some more pictures of that. This is my instructor, Ms. TJ Williams. We hired her in 2007 when I was an assistant principal there. She's from East St. Louis, and boy, she is amazing. She brings it. You gotta be tough if you have a woman as an automotive engineering teacher. She's amazing. So she started in Maplewood in 2007, the same year I did when I was an assistant principal there, and she's been there ever since. And I came back in 2011, we did 5 years together, and she's still there, and so she's doing great work. And this is a couple of Bridgestone employees and our kids both working together, and they're doing ASE certification. ASE is like getting a doctorate in automotive engineering, automotive service excellence. That's what that stands for. That's like getting a doctorate in automotive technology. If you're ASE certified, you're at the top level of your profession, okay? Now, you got the Nashville Auto Diesel College down the street, right? And kids are paying $50,000 to go to Nashville Auto Diesel College to get ASE certification. My kids are getting ASE certification right here in the school. For how much? Boom, Bridgestone's paying for it. Guys, the power of partnerships. Get this in your soul, okay? Get it here. Let this resonate with you. Get it here. You can transform a school through partnerships, okay? Very powerful. We also had some apprenticeships with other groups like Paul Mitchell, St. Thomas, NES. St. Thomas is building a $400,000 clinic at Maplewood High School now as we speak. That will open up soon. So some of the work we put in that school is still living on, even though I have left. That work is still living on. Coca-Cola, we're in an apprenticeship with them. I mean, we have done some amazing things, so real proud of that. Here's some of the academic outcomes. We moved into good standing with the Tennessee Department of Education. We had the highest gains among MNPS high schools in 2014. That was our best year academically. $5.3 million in scholarships in 2016, which was last year. We won 5 awards from the Nashville Chamber of Commerce for innovative partnerships in 2016. We had 3 nationally accredited career academies, and we increased that graduation rate that you saw earlier from 62% to 82.4%, which is above national average in a high school that had the highest poverty, highest crime rate in that community, okay? It has, and 82% is not great, but when you go up 20% in 3 years, it's a monster gain, okay? Typically, the state expects about a 1.6 or 2% increase yearly in grad rate. To go up 20% in 3 years is a monster jump, okay? It is tough. We also increased college acceptance from 57% to 83% over the course of that time as well, okay? That's a big jump in the number of kids who felt more confident in choosing to apply for a 2-year or 4-year school in a short amount of time, okay? I had a video for you called the Billy Hawkins video, but it is lengthy. We've done a lot of talking, and so I want to open up the floor now for you to ask me some questions, or to, if there's a slide you want me to go back to, I'll be happy to go back to that slide, but let me know. Questions? Floor is yours now. Yes, Dr. Turner.
Yeah, I just had a comment. Of course, I've known you, I think, over 20 years now, but this is just a true testimony to, you know, what we can do for children. Yes. And, you know, our goal should be to improve the quality of life for children, and we can do that through changing the culture and putting our mission and our action truly into place. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you think about Maplewood, the building's the same, the kids were the same. So what really changed, you know? And so, anyway, hats off to you. I'm still in MNPS. We miss you, I tell you that every time, but wonderful job, and it's a true testimony, and it should be an inspiration, you know, for all of us.
Thank you. I guess my question being, you're right, this was about leadership.
Yes.
This was about his leadership that he brought. And because I've been mentored by Dr. Jackson, I've definitely, and I know he's Dr. Jackson, so I've been a recipient of that. But so my question to you is, Dr. Jackson took us on a field trip visit, his staff. We went this spring, and so I saw some of that. So, but my question to you would be, because I've worked in schools where we've had great leaders, And then I stayed, and the leader left. And the sustainability of the culture did not continue. So my question to you is, I think the programs have sustained from what I saw on my field trip, but has the culture sustained that you created?
I can't answer that. Once I moved away, I immersed myself deeply in what's happening at my new job.
So how would you say to a leader to pass on so there is that culture of change and sustainability for the next person to move forward with what you have created?
So I believe you have to have a pipeline. I think leadership has to be taught, and there has to be a pipeline. I believe the leaders must invest in grooming others. So I had 4 assistant principals under me, and we met weekly. Every week we would meet. We'd meet at Monday, right after the buses leave. We'd meet for an hour, and we do business for half the time. The other half, it was a PLC. And so I was doing training, so they would be ready for the opportunity when the opportunity would arise. And so once they got those opportunities, and I've been blessed. I've had now 3 assistant principals promoted under me. Okay, and Ryan Jackson over there is one of those. But he'll tell you our meetings were about business for a little bit, but mostly it's a PLC where their leadership's being cultivated. We did some strong work around finance, master scheduling. I mean, that's what those meetings were about, was really getting them ready for opportunities that may be out there. So we have to cultivate that. That's the key. Yes?
So, the email address on there has the NUPS?
Oh, wow, sure does. Wow.
What would be the Murray County version?
Thank you that's a good catch. I'm just 1 year removed. I'm just 1 year removed. So my email, guys, good catch, thank you. rwoodard@Murray, MAURY, K12.org. rwoodard@MAURY, Murray, K12.org.
And if I can also add, you talked in this presentation, you talked about how bringing business partners in. There is also another video about them going out. And there's a ride-along, when they go on a ride-along into the community, like to the local barber shop and checking on their kids. Have you seen Reggie? What's the word on the street about Lucretia? I mean, whatever. Like, you go out and you try to find your kids, and that's another excellent video that's on his YouTube wall.
I thought about it, but I don't want to bore the people.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Do you partner with programs like new leaders in the schools and emerging leaders and things like that, and offer this advice to up-and-coming principals?
I would be interested in doing something like that. I have not had an opportunity to do anything with new leaders, no.
He did open some of his sessions up to other assistant principals in the district, his educational PLC sessions. He did open that out. So it has to be done.
Any other questions? Anybody? What are you left with today? Give me reflections. What'd you see?
I'm taking my son that I normally stand out in the parking lot with when I'm greeting all my parents and my kids for arrivals, like in the back. Taking my, because I'm like, let's have a great day. Are you ready for success? But making it more internal, like, what's your number? It's the numbers game. Are you ready? Like with the high GPA and EOC and ACT. Speaking about that.
Anybody else? Reflections, thoughts?
I just love seeing the relationship that you have with the students in the hallway. It wasn't, come on, get to class, let's move. It was high fives and how you doing, and that was very positive.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? East Tennessee, what are you guys thinking?
I'm thinking what I witnessed from your videos was passionate leadership. You cared about your kids, and you showed it daily in your school building.
So talk to me about strategies before we go. Were there any strategies that you saw here that you can go back and implement in your school organization? That's what I really care about is did you get a couple of nuggets today that you can take back and really help drive something or drive change in your environment? That's what matters. Yes.
I like the partnerships. When I was at the middle school, started working on those partnerships. I'm back at the high school now, and we really, I think the partnership thing that you did is really good. And there's a lot of potential in that. I just took a text my principal, I said, and I wrote it down, I said, something that we need to work on, getting that real life education in the school from, you know, from employers, etc. Because not every kid's going to go to college, right?
Sorry, where are you from?
Clinton, Tennessee, sir.
And I'll build on that a little bit. I think one of the things you not only instilled in me through your actions, but you literally said this to me one time. You need to be, I remember you telling me, Ryan, you need to be the guy that brings money into the school. Ask less of central office. It won't be there anyway. Ask less of central office. Create a self-sustaining school. You said that. And I took that to heart. You have to go out and drum up that business. You have to create those partnerships. You have to inspire these businesses in order to leverage their resources. Ask not what can central office do for you, but what can you do for central office. So when Mount Pleasant brings a $500,000 check into central office, people pay attention, right? And it's that self-sustaining model, that you were getting off the ground that maybe we'll.
Well, it's kind of like a teacher in the classroom. Take care of your own business as a teacher in the classroom.
And we've seen a lot of that, right? With GoFundMe accounts and things like that, where teachers are just taking this kind of these matters into their own hands in order to get things done, because ultimately lives still have to be changed. Whether central office is giving us or county commissioners are giving us the money or not, lives still have to be changed. So the work continues.
I thought it was important too when you were talking about inviting these companies in though, you made your needs known, but you didn't ask.
Right.
You let the need be known so that they can say, hey, I can meet that one for you.
There you go.
Instead of putting them on the spot and turning them off from you already.
That's
and
how
let the kids sell it. I think that's a life skill.
That's how we did it. Every fourth Monday, guys, Maplewood Monday, we had a luncheon. United Way would provide the food. We'd invite the people to come out. We sit and have a meal, talk about challenges. And I'm telling you, partners jumped right in and said, hey, we want to help,
And involving your students in selling it.
And involving the students,
And I will say, that, and that's a great point, is that when I was trying to drum up some of this business, this vice president told me straight up, I'm not giving you a nickel for your general operating budget. I want to know what this is for. Like, sell me on a vision specifically of where we can help. I'm not just going to put some money towards your general operating budget. We want to invest in something in particular, whether it's an innovation zone or an entrepreneurship center or a Firestone lab. Give them something specific to hang their hat on that they can help with.
I love the concept of rebranding. I think our school particularly needs that. We're a small little community of parents. I mean, we have teachers at our school that are teaching second generations. They had the mom and dad who hated coming to school, and now they're parents who still don't want to come into our building. So we've got to rebrand that somehow so that our school in particular is a place they want to come.
What school are you?
Highland Park.
Okay, that's right. You mentioned that to me. Yeah. Yes.
I'll say this, when I was at the middle school, I wanted to get $25,000 so I could get my gym floor repainted because it was ugly as hell and they had 10 years of varnish on it. Well, I got together and I got with my CAD teacher and we put together some nice little setup. We had a nice little presentation and we invited one of the entrepreneurs from the community and he came in. And we had like a 15-minute thing, and that we had coffee, and they had a little donuts in the auditorium. And he sat there, and what's his face? Trent did the stuff because Trent's real good at the BS and all that. And Trent did real good. And the man turned around and he asked him, and he looked at me. He goes, "Is that all?" And I'm like, 25,000 is a damn lot. He goes, "Chris, it's a good idea, but I want more." Met in 2 weeks. He gives the moral of the story that the man ends up doing $250,000 makeover in my gym. The middle school gym that high schools in the county drool at. The whole floor got done by the cats out of Chattanooga. He put in, he redid a gym from 1951. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, but do it right. invite them over, treat them like kings and queens, have a vision, this is where the money's going to, just like he said. You don't, just, have it all out, have a little budget, you know what, and somebody may turn around to you and say, is that it, is that all? I was like floored. I have never heard that. Is that all you want? He goes, I want to see more. Hell, I don't know how to do more because we always ask for less in public education. But but one thing, you have one good thing happen to your school, and the money, I had all kind of money coming in for this and that and things I had just mentioned in the community. Hey, I'll buy this for you. So get out there and promote your school. It will happen. One good thing happens. Everybody wants to get on the train.
That's what happened. Some good things started happening, and before we knew it, we went from 6 partners to 55. Yeah. It snowballs. It does. And in a positive way. You need that. That's the piece that we call momentum in schools, because you can plateau when things just get kind of stagnant. And so you need some inertia to get back up the mountain.
Are you teaching this to our principals in Murray County about being self-sustaining like we are at Mount Pleasant? You can't answer that in public, that's okay.
I would encourage you, as you are experiencing these successes, make sure you're tooting your own horn and putting it out there on the social media.
Because I'm thinking I need to go home and tell everybody, call Dr. Woodard to come talk to your principal.
I'm flattered by that, thank you.
But make it loud and proud. Make sure people know so that
Yeah.
people are recognizing what you're doing, and then other people will want to jump on board. So even if it's small, it's still a step forward in the direction you're trying to get to with your vision for your school and your students.
All right, guys, closing thought. Closing thought. I'm going to let you guys out of here, maybe a little early. What time is it? Okay, I'm right on time. Closing thought. In education, we must be very intentional about teacher quality, effective leadership, student placement. I'm real big on student placement, where we place kids. A lot of times kids kind of get sorted in the classrooms based on how we build the master schedule in the system, and then the system sorts kids in the rooms. We must be intentional about where we place kids. If you have a kid that has had an underperforming teacher for a year or two, this could be their 3rd or 4th or 5th year with a teacher that's either inexperienced or underperforming. And so we must be strategic about where kids land on the roster, okay? We also must think about how we can effectively impact lives inside of schools by transforming the culture. The culture is the key. Culture will eat strategy for breakfast, and so culture is the key. But the nuclear meltdown activity was designed to make you think strategically about how if you had to tear up a school, you would hate to do it, it'd break your heart to do it, but if you had to tear up a school, what would you do to it? And then when you see what's already happening when we're not tearing up schools and it looks the same, your conscience ought to be stirred up. It ought to make you say, what are we doing? What's happening when schools look like this, when we're not trying to create this kind of drama with these kind of issues in schools? So I want your conscience to be stirred today. I hope that you will reflect later on that. And if there's any aha moments that come to you later, if you have any questions for me or things you want to ask or just want to reach out, then please email me and I'll be happy to call you or email you back. Thank you all for coming. I'm humbled that you all would come. Thank you for being here with me, and I enjoyed this 90 minutes. Thank you.